Maya Rodriguez stood at the window of the transport ship and watched Earth grow larger in front of her. 5 years had passed since she last saw her home planet. 5 long years of fighting aliens in space, commanding warships, and making life or death decisions every single day. The blue and green world looked so peaceful from up here. No laser fire, no explosions, no enemy ships trying to destroy everything she cared about. Maya touched the scar on her left cheek, a reminder of the Battle of Kepler Station, where a piece of metal had cut her face when the bridge exploded around her. Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez will be docking in 30 minutes, called out the pilot. Maya nodded, but didn't turn away from the window. She wasn't ready for this. Fighting aliens was easier than going home. The war against the Zephyrians had ended 6 months ago. Maya remembered the final battle clearly. She had been on the bridge of the USS Defiance, watching enemy ships fill the space around Proxima Centauri. The Zephyrians were huge creatures with 4 arms and skin like metal. They fought with plasma weapons that could melt through ship hulls in seconds. But humans were smarter. Maya had figured out how to use the gravity from the twin stars to slingshot their ships around the enemy fleet. The Zephyrians never saw it coming. When the human ships appeared behind them, the alien commander sent a message asking for peace talks. Maya had been there when the Zephyrian war chief signed the peace treaty. The 8-foot-tall alien had looked at her with its yellow eyes and said in broken English, "Humans fight like no other species. You are small but fierce like burning stars." Now she was going home to Denver, Colorado. Her medals were packed away in her bag. Her uniform was clean and pressed. But Maya felt more nervous than she had facing down alien warships. The transport ship landed at Peterson Space Base. Maya grabbed her single bag and walked down the ramp. The air smelled different than on the ships, cleaner. She took a deep breath and started walking toward the main building. Maya Rodriguez? A young man in a suit approached her. "I'm Jake Wilson from Channel 7 News. Can we get a quick interview about your time in the war?" Maya stopped walking. "I'd rather not. Come on, just a few questions. Our viewers want to know what it was like fighting aliens." Jake held up his camera. "No, thank you." Maya walked past him toward the exit. "Is it true you destroyed an entire alien fleet by yourself?" Jake called after her. Maya kept walking. She had learned during the war that some battles weren't worth fighting. Outside the base, Maya called a taxi. The driver was an older man with gray hair. He looked at her uniform. In the mirror, "You one of those space soldiers?" he asked. "Yes, sir. My nephew Billy was in the regular army. Did 2 tours in Afghanistan before all this space stuff started. Real fighting, you know? Not like shooting at aliens with laser guns." Maya stared out the window. "Yes, sir." The city looked the same but felt different. The buildings hadn't changed. The mountains still rose up in the distance. But something was off. Maya couldn't put her finger on it. The taxi stopped outside a small apartment building. Maya paid the driver and got out. This was her new home. She had sold her old house before leaving for the war. Now she was starting over. The apartment was small but clean. 1 bedroom, a tiny kitchen, and a living room with a view of a parking lot. Maya set her bag on the bed and looked around. After 5 years of living on warships, this felt huge. Her first stop the next morning was the Veterans Affairs Office. Maya had paperwork to fill out for her benefits. She walked into the building wearing civilian clothes. Jeans and a t-shirt felt strange after years in uniform. The waiting room was full of other veterans. Most were older men who had fought in Earth wars. They looked at Maya with curious eyes. She was young and female and had fought in space. She didn't fit in. "Next," called a voice from behind a window. Maya walked up to the counter. A man in his 30s sat behind bulletproof glass. His name tag said Danny Martinez. "What can I do for you?" Danny asked without looking up from his computer. "I need to file for my veterans' benefits. I just got back from the HFY War." Danny sighed and finally looked at her. "Another space marine, huh? You folks sure like to make a big deal about fighting some aliens nobody's ever seen." Maya felt her jaw tighten. She had faced down creatures that could tear a person apart with their bare hands. She had saved colonies full of innocent people, and this clerk was treating her like she was lying. "I have my discharge papers right here," Maya said calmly. She slid the documents through the slot in the window. Danny picked up the papers and barely glanced at them. "Says here you were a lieutenant commander. Pretty high rank for someone so young." "I earned it." "I'm sure you did." Danny's tone suggested he didn't believe her. "Look, we get a lot of people in here claiming they did important stuff in the war. Most of them were just fixing toilets on space stations." Maya took a deep breath. Getting angry wouldn't help. "Sir, I commanded the USS Defiance. We were in 7 major battles and saved over 200,000 civilians." "Ooh, Danny started typing on his computer. "It's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to process your claim. We'll mail you the results. 6 to 8 weeks? Budget cuts. We're understaffed." Danny slid a form through the window. "Fill this out and bring it back tomorrow." Next. Maya looked at the form. It was the same paperwork she had already filled out 3 times on the transport ship. She wanted to argue, but there was a line of people behind her waiting their turn. Outside the building, Maya sat on a bench and looked at the form. Question after question asking her to prove she had really been in the war. Asking for documentation of every mission, every battle, every decoration. She thought about the HFY war chief who had shaken her hand after signing the peace treaty. That alien had shown her more respect in 5 minutes than Danny Martinez had in 20. Maya folded the form and put it in her pocket. Tomorrow she would come back and try again. But right now, she needed to figure out how to fight this new kind of enemy. An enemy that hid behind desks and paperwork instead of plasma cannons. The war in space was over. But Maya was starting to realize that her real battle was just beginning. 3 weeks after returning to Earth, Maya got a phone call from Horizon Industries. The woman on the phone sounded friendly and professional. "Miss Rodriguez, we have an opening for a security consultant position. Your military background makes you perfect for the job." Maya needed work. Her veteran benefits were still being processed, and her savings were running low. "What kind of security work?" "We're an aerospace company. We build parts for spaceships and satellites. You would review our safety procedures and help train our security staff." It sounded like a good fit. Maya had spent 5 years keeping people safe on warships. "When can I start?" "How about Monday morning?" 9 o'clock sharp. Maya hung up the phone feeling hopeful for the first time since coming home. Maybe her military experience would be useful. After all, Horizon Industries was located in a glass building on the edge of Denver. Maya arrived 15 minutes early and waited in the lobby. The receptionist, a young woman with bright red hair, smiled at her. "You must be Maya Rodriguez. Mr. Brooks is waiting for you." Kevin Brooks was a man in his 50s with thinning hair and an expensive suit. His office was large with windows overlooking the city. Pictures of himself with important-looking people covered the walls. "So you're our war hero," Kevin said as Maya sat down. He didn't offer to shake hands. "I have to be honest with you, Rodriguez. I didn't want to hire you. But the company has this diversity thing going on. They want more women and veterans." Maya felt her stomach tighten. "I was told you needed someone with security experience. Look, I don't care what you did out there in space. Down here, we do things differently. We use diplomacy, not weapons. Think you can handle that? Yes, sir. Kevin slid a folder across his desk. These are your assignments for the first month. Basic stuff. Review some safety reports. Sit in on a few meetings. Try not to cause any trouble. Maya opened the folder. The first document was a safety report for hull plating used in cargo ships. As she read, her heart began to race. The metal specifications were all wrong. This plating would crack under pressure. Any ship using it would break apart in space. Mr. Brooks, there's a problem with this report. Kevin looked annoyed. What kind of problem? These hull plates don't meet minimum safety standards. If a ship uses this metal, people could die. The engineers signed off on it. Are you saying you know more than our trained professionals? Maya thought about the cargo ships she had seen explode during the war when their hulls failed. Watching good people die because of bad equipment was something she never wanted to see. Again, sir, I've seen what happens when hull plating fails. This metal won't hold up under stress. Kevin leaned back in his chair. Rodriguez, let me explain something to you. This is business. We have shareholders to consider. These plates cost 40% less than the premium metal. Our customers want to save money. But people's lives are not your concern. Your job is to rubber stamp these reports and keep your mouth shut. Can you do that? Maya stared at him. During the war, any officer who put profits over lives would have been court-martialed. I need to think about this. Don't think too long. We have deadlines to meet. Maya spent the rest of the day reading through more reports. Every single one had problems. Faulty wiring diagrams, weak support beams, computer systems that would fail during emergencies. It was like the company was trying to build the most dangerous spaceships possible. She tried talking to other employees. Dr. Lisa Chun worked in the propulsion department. She was a brilliant engineer who had designed new types of rocket engines. But when Maya asked her about the safety problems, Lisa looked nervous. I've tried bringing up these issues before, Lisa whispered. But my supervisor always takes credit for my good ideas and ignores my safety concerns. He tells everyone that women engineers are too emotional and worry too much. Maya met Marcus Johnson in the cafeteria. He was a former Army engineer who had worked on military vehicles. Like Maya, he had noticed serious problems with the company's designs. They hired me for my experience, Marcus said quietly. But every time I point out a design flaw, they tell me this isn't the military, and I need to learn how civilian companies work. So what do you do? Maya asked. I keep my head down and collect my paycheck. I have a family to feed. Maya understood. Not everyone could afford to fight every battle. But she couldn't ignore what she was seeing. The next morning, Maya found Kevin Brooks in his office. Mr. Brooks, I've reviewed all the safety reports. There are serious problems that need to be fixed. Kevin didn't look up from his computer. I thought we talked about this yesterday. Sir, people are going to die if we don't. Rodriguez. Kevin finally looked at her. His eyes were cold. Let me be very clear. You are here to do what I tell you to do. Nothing more. If you can't handle that, maybe this job isn't for you. Maya felt like she was back on the battlefield, but this time the enemy was sitting behind a desk wearing a suit. I can't approve reports that will get people killed. Then maybe you should go back to space where you belong. That afternoon, Maya discovered something even worse. Kevin Brooks was using her war record in the company's advertising. A new brochure showed her picture in uniform with the words, "Battle-tested by genuine war heroes," printed underneath. Maya had never given permission for this. They were using her reputation to sell dangerous equipment while refusing to listen to her safety concerns. She went to Kevin's office and slammed the brochure on his desk. You can't use my picture without permission, Kevin smiled. Actually, we can. It's in your employment contract. Small print on page 7. Maya realized she had been tricked. They never wanted her expertise. They just wanted her face and her war record to sell their products. "You're using me," she said. "Welcome to the real world, Rodriguez. You military types are all the same. You think everything is about honor and doing the right thing. But down here, it's about making money." Maya looked at Kevin Brooks and realized something important. He was just like the Zephyrian commanders she had fought against. He didn't care about innocent people. He only cared about winning, no matter who got hurt. But Maya had learned something during the war. Every enemy had a weakness. Every bully could be beaten if you were smart enough and brave enough to fight back. Kevin Brooks had just made a very big mistake. He had underestimated Lieutenant Commander Maya Rodriguez. The war in space was over, but Maya's new war was just beginning. Maya sat in her apartment that night, staring at the dangerous safety reports spread across her kitchen table. In space, the enemy had been clear. Zephyrian ships were easy to identify. Their weapons were obvious. But here on Earth, the enemy hid behind paperwork and corporate policies. She thought about her options. She could quit her job and walk away. She could keep quiet and collect her paycheck like Marcus Johnson. Or she could fight back. Maya had never walked away from a fight in her life. She wasn't going to start now. The next morning, Maya approached Lisa Chun during her lunch break. Lisa was eating alone in the company cafeteria, reading technical journals. "Dr. Chun, can I sit with you?" Lisa looked around nervously. "I guess so, but I can't talk long. My supervisor gets angry if I'm late from lunch. I've been thinking about what you said yesterday, about your safety concerns being ignored." "Maya, please keep your voice down." Maya leaned closer. "What if we worked together? You know the technical problems. I know military strategy. Maybe we can find a way to fix this." Lisa shook her head. "It's hopeless. I've been here 3 years. Every time I try to speak up, they find ways to shut me down. They give the men promotions, while I stay stuck in the same position. But what if we had proof? Documentation of all the safety violations. They'd fire us both." Maya smiled. "Lisa, I've faced down alien warships. Getting fired doesn't scare me. The question is, can you live with yourself if people die because we stayed quiet?" Lisa was quiet for a long moment. Finally, she nodded. "What do you need me to do?" That afternoon, Maya found Marcus Johnson in the parking garage. He was getting into his car after work. "Marcus, wait. I need to talk to you." Marcus looked around to make sure no one was watching. "Maya, I can't get involved in whatever you're planning. Just hear me out. Lisa Chun and I are documenting the safety problems. We need someone with your engineering background to help us understand the technical details. And then what? We all get fired? Maybe. Or maybe we save lives." Marcus sighed. "I have 2 kids, Maya. I can't afford to lose this job. I understand. But can you afford to let children die in space because their ship was built with bad parts?" Marcus was quiet. Maya could see him thinking. "During the war," Maya continued, "we had a saying. No one fights alone. I'm not asking you to risk everything. Just help us gather information. If we're careful, they'll never know you were involved." Marcus looked at her for a long time. "What kind of information?" Over the next 2 weeks, Maya's small team worked carefully. Lisa provided technical analysis of the faulty designs. Marcus shared his knowledge of engineering standards. Maya used her military training to plan their activities like a covert operation. They met in different places each time. A coffee shop, downtown, the public library, Maya's apartment. They never used company computers or phones. Maya had learned during the war that the enemy was always listening. The evidence they collected was shocking. Horizon Industries wasn't just cutting corners on safety. They were stealing designs from smaller companies and claiming them as their own. They were bribing inspectors to approve dangerous equipment. They had a whole system set up to hide their crimes, but Maya knew that having evidence wasn't enough. They needed someone with power to listen to them. Maya remembered seeing a news story about Carlos Martinez, a reporter who investigated crooked companies. She found his email address online and sent him a message asking to meet. They met at a small restaurant outside the city. Carlos was a man in his 40s with sharp eyes and a notebook full of questions. "So you're telling me that Horizon Industries is knowingly selling dangerous equipment?" Carlos asked. "That's exactly what I'm telling you. Do you have proof?" Maya slid a folder across the table. Technical reports, internal emails, photos of faulty parts, everything you need. Carlos looked through the documents. His eyes got wider with each page. "This is incredible. If even half of this is true, they could kill hundreds of people." "It's all true. I've seen these kinds of failures in space. Hull breaches, system failures. People don't just get hurt. They die. Why are you coming to me? Why not go to the police?" "The police don't understand technical specifications. You do. You've been investigating aerospace companies for years." Carlos nodded. "I'll need to verify some of this information. Can your sources go on the record?" Maya thought about Lisa and Marcus. Going public would definitely cost them their jobs. "Let me ask them." The next day, Maya called Lisa and Marcus to her apartment. She explained what Carlos Martinez wanted. "To do a newspaper story?" Lisa looked scared. "They'll know it was us. There aren't many people who have access to this information." "Maybe that's a good thing," Maya said. "Maybe it's time to stop hiding." Marcus shook his head. "Easy for you to say. You don't have kids depending on you." Maya understood their fear, but she also knew something they didn't. During the war, "I learned that bullies only stop when someone stands up to them. Kevin Brooks is counting on us being too scared to fight back." "What if the story doesn't change anything?" Lisa asked. "What if people just read it and forget about it? Then we try something else." "But we don't give up." Maya had one more idea. She had done some research and found out about Congressman Helen Foster. Foster was a former Navy pilot who now served on the House Subcommittee on Space Technology. If anyone would understand the importance of aerospace safety, it would be her. Maya wrote a letter to Congressman Foster, explaining the situation and including copies of the evidence. She asked for a congressional investigation into Horizon Industries. 3 days later, Maya got a phone call from Foster's office. The congressman wanted to meet with her in Washington. "Congressman Foster is very concerned about your allegations." The aide said, "She wants to hear your story in person." Maya hung up the phone and smiled. During the war, victory often came from building the right alliances. She was starting to put together a team that could take down Kevin Brooks and his corrupt company. But Maya also knew that Brooks wouldn't go down without a fight. He had money and power and connections. He would try to destroy her before she could destroy him. Maya had faced worse enemies before. The Zephyrians had tried to break her spirit with psychological warfare. They had tried to kill her with plasma, weapons, and boarding parties. But she had survived all of that. Kevin Brooks was about to learn what every alien commander had learned during the war. Maya Rodriguez never backed down from a fight, and she never lost. Maya flew to Washington, D.C. on a Tuesday morning. She wore her best civilian clothes and carried a briefcase full of evidence. As the plane took off, she thought about all the times she had flown through space, dodging enemy fire and leading her crew into battle. This felt just as important. Congressman Helen Foster's office was in a building near the Capitol. Foster was a woman in her 50s with gray hair, and the same confident posture Maya recognized in veteran officers. She had been a Navy pilot before becoming a politician. "Lieutenant Commander Rodriguez," Foster said, shaking Maya's hand firmly. "I've read your letter 3 times. These are serious accusations." "Yes, ma'am, and I have proof of everything." Foster looked through the documents Maya had brought. Her face grew more serious with each page. "This is worse than I thought. If these hull plates were used on passenger ships, we could see massive casualties. That's why I came to you, Congressman. The company won't listen to safety concerns. They only care about making money. Tell me about your background. I want to make sure you know what you're talking about." Maya explained her 5 years in space, the battles she had fought, and the safety procedures that had kept her crew alive. Foster listened carefully, asking technical questions that showed she understood spacecraft operations. "You clearly know your business," Foster said. "But taking on a major corporation isn't easy. They have lawyers and lobbyists and connections. Are you prepared for them to fight back?" "Ma'am, I've faced down 8-foot-tall aliens with razor claws. I think I can handle some corporate lawyers." Foster smiled. "I like your attitude. I'm going to call for immediate hearings. We'll subpoena their records and get you a chance to testify publicly." While Maya was in Washington, Carlos Martinez was preparing his newspaper story. He had spent 2 weeks checking every fact and interviewing former Horizon Industries employees. What he found made him angry. The company had a pattern of silencing whistleblowers. They offered money to some. They threatened lawsuits against others. They had even hired private investigators to dig up dirt on employees who caused trouble. Carlos called Maya while she was still in Foster's office. "Maya, I'm running the story tomorrow, front page of the business section. But you should know that Horizon Industries is going to come after you hard." "Let them come," Maya said. The story hit the newsstands on Thursday morning. The headline read, "Aerospace Giant Accused of Deadly Safety Violations." Carlos had written a detailed article explaining the technical problems and quoting several anonymous sources who confirmed Maya's accusations. Maya was back in Denver by then. She went to work that morning, knowing that Kevin Brooks would be furious. She wasn't disappointed. "Rodriguez, get in my office, now." Maya walked into Brooks' office and found him red-faced and shaking with anger. The newspaper was spread across his desk. "You did this, didn't you? You leaked confidential information to that reporter." "I reported safety violations that could kill people. You violated your employment contract. You signed a non-disclosure agreement." Maya had expected this. "Mr. Brooks, no contract can force someone to cover up criminal activity." "Criminal activity? We haven't done anything criminal." Maya pulled out a small recording device and set it on his desk. "Actually, you have, and I've been recording our conversations." Brooks stared at the device. "You can't record me without permission. That's illegal. Colorado is a one-party consent state, Mr. Brooks. I only need my own permission to record conversations I'm part of." Maya pressed play. Brooks' voice filled the room, clear and unmistakable. "This is business. We have shareholders to consider. These plates cost 40% less than the premium metal." Brooks lunged for the recorder, but Maya was faster. She had reflexes trained by years of combat. She grabbed the device and stepped back. "You made a mistake, Kevin," Maya said, using his first name for the first time. "You assumed that because I'm not in uniform anymore. I'm not still a soldier. But I swore an oath to defend humanity. That includes defending people from companies that put profits over lives." "You're fired. Get out of my building." "I was planning to quit anyway." Maya walked out of Horizon Industries for the last time. As she reached the parking lot, her phone rang. It was Lisa Chun. "Maya, they just fired me too. And Marcus." There, claiming we stole company secrets. Don't worry, Maya said. We expected this. It's actually good news. Good news? I just lost my job. Lisa, they just proved that Carlos Martinez's story was accurate. If we were wrong, why would they fire us? They're panicking, and panicked enemies make mistakes. The congressional hearings began 2 weeks later. Maya sat at a long table facing a panel of senators and representatives. Cameras filmed everything. For national television, Congressman Foster asked the first question. Commander Rodriguez, please tell us about the safety violations you discovered at Horizon Industries. For the next hour, Maya explained the technical problems in simple language that everyone could understand. She showed photos of cracked hull plates. She played recordings of Kevin Brooks dismissing safety concerns. She presented emails proving that the company knew their equipment was dangerous. The committee members asked tough questions, but Maya was ready for all of them. Her military training had taught her to prepare thoroughly and stay calm under pressure. Commander, asked Senator James Patterson, why should we believe you over the executives of a successful company? Maya looked directly at the camera. Senator, I didn't come home from fighting aliens just to watch humans kill each other with greed and carelessness. Every person who dies because of faulty equipment is someone's child, someone's parent, someone's friend. We can do better than this. The hearing room was silent for a moment. Then people in the audience began to applaud. Kevin Brooks testified the next day. He tried to dismiss Maya as a troubled veteran who couldn't adjust to civilian life. He claimed she was suffering from stress and making up stories, but Congressman Foster was ready for him. She played the recordings Maya had made. She showed internal company emails that proved Brooks knew about the safety problems. She presented testimony from other employees who confirmed Maya's story. Brooks left the hearing room, looking defeated. 3 months later, Horizon Industries filed for bankruptcy. Kevin Brooks was charged with fraud and conspiracy. The federal government created new safety regulations for aerospace companies. Maya was offered a job as the first director of the new Space Safety Commission. Lisa Chun became the lead engineer on humanity's next deep space exploration mission. Marcus Johnson was hired to run a program protecting workers who report safety violations. Maya stood on the observation deck of the launch facility, watching a new spacecraft lift off into the sky. This ship was built with proper hull plating and safety systems that met the highest standards. As the ship disappeared among the stars, Maya smiled. She had learned something important during her time on Earth. The same qualities that made humans great in space: courage, determination, and the refusal to give up when fighting for what's right worked just as well at home. The war against the Zephyrians was over, but Maya's mission to protect humanity would never end. Whether the enemy wore armor or a business suit, she would always be ready to fight for the people she had sworn to defend.